We are back. That's right. We are back to the Race and Ethnic Relations podcast show. I am Dr. B. Welcome back to our show. This is show number 73. That's right, 73. And it's entitled Mental Health and College Students. That's right, mental health and college students. This is, again, it's time to talk about this particular topic because, again, it's just been coming up again and again in my classes, and I want to properly give it its proper attention because I just feel like college students truly are going through a lot of new issues that are being overlooked by our society, particularly universities and colleges across the country. And now it's just blowing up to a completely another level. Yet it's still fairly neglected in so many major areas. So again, the title of this show: Mental Health and College Students. That's right. We are starting again. This is May 1st that I decided to do this show because, again, it's so important. I want to thank, let me take care of some business. I want to thank Podbean. I want to thank iHeartRadio. I want to thank iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. I want to thank all my platforms out there. Again, and also want to thank my publisher, ABC Clio, which now is under Bloomberg Publishing. It's been taken over by Bloomberg, so shout out to Bloomberg Publishing of my 2018 book, Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus: Understanding Empowerment and Solutions for College Students. So again, this is it is definitely time to talk about this issue: mental health and college students. And by the way, I think this topic is so important for everyone, obviously for college students, but I want everyone within the listening audiences and the different platforms to take heed and bring in your family members, friends, associates, anyone that's going through mental health issues, stress, anxiety, depression, to share this podcast with as many individuals as possible, particularly all the college students in college right now, but who have just completed, who are thinking about going to college, who are preparing, graduating from high school and getting ready to go to college coming this fall. And those college graduates that are happening now, all the graduations across the country, this particular podcast is especially for you. That's how important it is. So, with that said, I have to preface this, and I'm going to really talk about the engagement interactions that I've been having with college students for over 35 years. I've been a professor at different universities for over 35 years. Starting out as as a teaching assistant, a teaching instructor, a graduate assistant back at Wayne State University in Detroit. For 5 straight years, teaching college students back in Detroit during the 80s. But and that was just a great experience. The students then had their issues, but again, it continues to grow. So from place to place to place, and then my first job at the University of Houston, Texas, as assistant professor, I had such a large number of students with a number of mental health, college life experience issues, mental health issues, not near as it is today. Then another university I worked for, Indiana University in Indianapolis. Again, in the Midwest, another set of mental health issues. Then later, University of Arkansas, working with graduate professionals there, not necessarily teaching, but graduate professionals at University of Arkansas at Little Rock. So that was a great experience. And it was also at primarily a postdoc at Emory University. But when I had a position at Charles University of Medicine and Science in Los Angeles, California, and had a number of concerned issues from students there in South Los Angeles, South LA. And now, since being here at my university here, East Carolina University, now after 17 years and teaching undergraduate and graduate courses, it's very, very, very rewarding. Let me just say, it's so rewarding to teach college classes with the engagement interactions that I have with my students, learning from them, sharing the knowledge, sharing my perspective on health issues, on anthropology issues, but primarily health and medical issues in my programs, the medical anthropology courses that I teach, the race and ethnic relations courses that I teach, and the health disparity courses that I teach, but particularly now, and the cultural anthropology courses that I taught, but particularly now, in 2023, I noticed, and the interactions that I have with my students, I can tell they are in need. Let me just say, in need of much more guidance with their mental health issues. There's a lot of mental illness that has been not properly, again, my perspective, properly, it's way before treated, of being aware. You see, that's the thing. You can't treat something if you're not aware of it. And most professors, instructors, come across students, particularly now, and I'm really focusing on the Gen Z audience, the cohort. There are a lot of issues that have been swept under the rug or just right under the surface, and they are some serious issues that a lot of students just are not getting help for. And it takes I think, an alert instructor, professor, to be aware of those issues that when it comes across, in whether you're teaching online or face to face. And the reason why I say there's some serious issues, you can get the sense that students are nervous about so many things in their life, trying to say things the proper way, trying to not to offend anyone at any time in their discussion. Now, let me back this up. Now, think about it. You go to college, to expand your knowledge base, to get exposure to other people who are not like you, to debate about controversial topics, to develop a new theory or approach, a perspective on life. Yet, unfortunately, college students are put in this situation in a lot of classes that they're unable to express those ideals, those perspectives, those issues. So they keep them bottled up. And they really don't know how to engage on a practical sense and a relatable sense to individuals who are not like them, and individuals who are like them too. But I've seen this a lot in my race and ethnic relations class. I mean, this class has truly been a great surprise, a great reward for me since I started this class, 2016, as just a class that was an honors class, and then now it's blown up to, it's available for all students at the university, and it's more than quadruple its attendance every semester that I teach it. And fortunately, my book, Race and Ethnic Relations on Campus, Understanding Empowerment and Solutions for College Students, by Bloomberg and ABC Clio, is very timely. I framed it out just right. And these were issues that I was thinking about, a couple of decades ago, and then finally put it in place and fortunately published it. It is so timely now more than ever in 2023. I actually used much of the more of the content from this book into my class. Initially, I used a portion of it, but now I use all of it in my class. And one area that has really taken off is when we talk about some positive issues related to developing good race relations. And when we have a discussion or have a week of lecture on this issue, what comes up is the issue of self-confidence. And related to self-confidence, and basically what I do, I'm giving you a little insight. What I do is I ask students, what are the strategies that you use to improve your self-confidence and maintaining and being a college student? What are the self-confidence strategies? I get them to share it with their colleagues in class. And right behind when students share it and write it out and show it, there's a wide array of mental health issues connected to it. It's about improving one's mental well-being and reduce those mental illnesses like increased anxiety, high depression, very depressed, depression and anxiety is extremely high among my college students today. And when we have that exercise on self-confidence, it's like therapy. It's an awareness. It's making an awareness that regularly students need to practice positive self-confidence strategies every day, thereby reducing their chances of developing certain types of mental illnesses when they're so isolated. And let me just say, a lot of students, you would think that a lot of students today are connected. No, they are isolated. That is what's surprising to me. Many students, even without, we're not beyond COVID, but COVID really put things, did major damage to students now that they're in college. But I can't imagine what they experienced when they were in high school and middle school. But now that they arrived in college, you can see that they have to reorient themselves. And it's tough on them. And they try to reach out, but it's not enough. So now that COVID, we've gone beyond that, but you can get a sense that students are just struggling to reconnect with anyone, with just anyone in the class. Let alone, and I try to encourage them to connect with students who don't look like you, students of color, students of different ethnicities, racial and ethnic backgrounds. That's the goal of the class. But right behind it are issues of mental health, mental illness, high anxiety, deep depression, loneliness, uncertainty about who they are, struggling through all of that. And unfortunately, when it comes out, of course, as professor, I walk them through the process of trying to get help. Walk them through the process of getting, and here's the obligation of I would say, of every professor, instructor out there. Once you're aware of it, you have to walk students through the process of getting help, providing the steps, nurturing that attention, and walking them through the steps and getting help, providing them resources and getting help. There's resources at every campus, college, even off the college and university environment, right in the town, right in your city. And it's right, and you can get a sense of by the middle of the semester, I get a really good idea of which students really need some help. It comes across in their writing, in their answers on exams, and also the discussion boards that I have. It comes across very clearly by the middle of the semester. And now, let me just say, excuse me, now when my class is over with, I can say that, wow, I'm glad I provided students opportunity to engage on issues that I'm sure they did not know they were going to engage in with, but it's really related to a lot of mental health issues. And I'm empowering students by the end. And now at the end, they feel you can get the sense they feel much more confident about themselves. And of course, about meeting other folks who are different than them. But also their mental health is better. They read it. They hear it from my lectures. And now they feel here's what I'm getting, more comfortable in talking about and writing about their own mental health situation. That's clearly another outcome of my class, which I did not anticipate, but it's right there. And it's really been growing and growing from this class. And I would have to say that particularly now in 2023, students are searching for other alternative ways to get help for their mental health issues. And I would encourage all professionals, non-professionals, informal lay leaders, indigenous leaders, community folks, to lend a helping hand to many of these Gen Z students who fit, and they'll come across, they'll come across as very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. Yet when you dig just a little bit deeper, you can feel the uncertainty. You can feel the fright about they realize they have to deal with the real world at some point in time. It's not a warm and cushy world. Everyone's not going to pamper you. But they're realizing they have to deal with the real aspect of real life. And it's traumatic for a lot of folks, particularly a lot of Gen Zers. And I can tell the difference from those Gen Zers who are a bit more proactive in getting help versus those who are still more reactive, uncertain. So mental health issues are growing to another level. And now we have to take the turn to provide, resources, more awareness, and more, let me just say, reducing the stigma. There you go, the stigma and the misconceptions related to mental health, particularly for college students. And we just don't provide the resource. Because why? Most of the majority of society think college students got it so easy. They don't have no problems. Oh, yes, they do. And the reason why I say they, Dr. B. I remember in college myself, years ago, man, it was difficult. Dr. B went through some mental stuff back during the 70s and 80s. And Doctor, yes, I am coming clean on this. Matter of fact, yes, here we go. Matter of fact, particularly in graduate school, I felt, I felt even guilty of going to graduate school. And I had to go to a therapist, on-campus therapist, because I felt so guilty getting into a PhD program. Even though I worked real hard and I deserved it, but there was a little guilt, big guilt that I had. So I had to go see a therapist, psychiatrist with other graduate students. And that psychiatrist said, guess what? You deserve to be here. You worked hard. You deserve to be here. So I had to stop beating myself up mentally and get on board and appreciate what was given to me, offered to me, my graduate assistantship. So I was going through, and this was clearly 1984, 5. Wow. I remember it very well. Again, my issues back in the day are different from the issues that are happening for undergraduates and graduate students today in 2023. And I would have to say the onslaught of all the information, the awareness of trying to move forward in individuals' life is vastly much more at a higher level than it was when I was going through college. And the things that I had to struggle through as a college student versus today with so many resources, but also the lack of actual care and treatment available for college students. It's amazing that it's still not there. And this relates to many of the problems that, unfortunately, many college students, when they graduate, they struggle in life, in managing their own life. So I would say to each and every one of you who are listening to this particular podcast 73, excuse me, my voice is getting hoarse. It's been a long semester. Hold on, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me. Had to take a drink of water. For those who are struggling with their issues, mental health issues, it's a real struggle. And it's not just, it doesn't go away. You have to be proactive. Now, let me just say, I've seen several of my students who were in my class attack it, address it, and now they are accelerating in life. They found a new course in life. They're becoming renowned young professionals in their careers. And what I realized, the key to it is when you recognize it as a professor and instructor, keep the dialogue going. Keep the connection going with that particular student. Yeah, here's the takeaway. For those professors, instructors who notice certain students are struggling, keep the dialogue going. Interact with them. Send an email to them periodically and say, how are you doing? What's the next phase of your, what you're doing in your life or for the next month or so? Just keep the dialogue going. Positive dialogue. You would be amazed how much it helps students who are struggling, who need improvement of their self-confidence, who are struggling with their extra anxiety over tests, over what the future is, or those students who tend to be depressed and try to keep and very negative, or cynicism or cynic about the life, cynical about everything in life. You have to be consistently positive to those students who are struggling day in, day out. And I found that once I kept the dialogue continuing, and there's only so much a professor and instructor can do, but once I kept the dialogue continuing, 9 times out of 10, that student really got better, improved, step by step. Yet the first part of improvement is acknowledgement of a mental health issue. And then overcoming the stigma of it, addressing it in a subtle way, then step by step, move that student to more of a proactive approach, perspective, outlook, so that they can become productive graduates of your college or university. We want to have productive graduates. And why I'm making this a keep, because guess what? These Gen Zers are, yes, they're the ones making the decision, going to be making big decisions in our country, in our life, in our government, in our healthcare, in our medical world, in our economical world, in the schools, in the school districts. They're going to be the managers, the teachers, the leaders, all throughout our country. So now it's time to make sure the issues of mental health among college students get the proper attention, the proper resources, so that it can improve our lives, or those of us who are older, our lives as well. And help reduce, guess what? Yes, it can reduce a lot of the problems in our society that's related to mental illness, reduce the crime throughout the country, reduce the traumatic events that are happening in our country. But we have a responsibility to recognize right now in 2023, more than ever, mental health issues among college students is so important. Let's address these issues face to face the best way we can and improve not just the college student's life, but your own life. Because all of us go through different things in life. Some serious stuff in life. And it's always, to me, I've always been taught to lend a helping hand, to provide assistance in some form or fashion. Just don't leave individuals out there by themselves. Because it is very, very lonely when you feel even more lonely. Even with all the technology, I realize my Gen Zers are, they feel very much alone, detached. There you go. They feel detached from society. They feel detached from even family members. They feel detached from many times their friends. They really don't have, I'm just saying, the students that I come across don't have the extensive network of friends. So, again, it's so important to keep students interconnected, engaged, improve self-confidence, and address the issues of mental illness, mental health, face to face. There you go. This is show number 73. It's a very serious show. It's entitled Mental Health and College Students. I am Dr. B. I am Dr. B. This is Race and Ethnic Relations podcast show. I want to thank Spotify. I want to thank iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podbean, thank you, Podbean. And thank you for all the listeners across the United States and the world. Please share this across the pond, across the oceans. Thank you, listeners, wherever you are. Keep spreading the word. Have your own dialogue with your college student, whether you're a parent, grandparent, friend, cousin, aunt, uncle. Have the dialogue with your college student now, not later. Now. This is Dr. B. This is Race and Ethnic Relations podcast show number 73. Mental health and college students. Take care, everybody. We out. Peace out.